A few nights ago, I almost fell for a scam buying gasoline just outside of Boise, Idaho. What had happened was I had pulled into a small town. There's a big sign, and it reads, I believe, 309. I'm thinking that's a pretty good price for gasoline. And I get out to the station, and as I look closer, it's $3.99, and I'm like, well, what happened? And I looked at the sign again, and that big 309 on the sign was for diesel. And first of all, in Idaho, gasoline is a whole lot cheaper than diesel in the first place. And I've never seen a gas station that put diesel numbers so big on the sign. And this is actually a travel stop. And I have a good laugh, and I go into the travel stop to tell people how funny. I needed to go to the restroom anyhow, so I went in there and I went to tell a few people how funny it was. And a few people were telling me they fell for it as well, but they needed gas. Oh well, they had a good laugh. I didn't put any gas in my gas station. Instead, I continued along that it's a country road that I exited out into. And I pull up to another gas station, and I see $3.39, I believe. And then I go into the pumps, and it's $3.89. And so I'm thinking, is that the same trick again? I thought for sure I saw gas, not diesel this time. And I look carefully, and that sign is positioned in such a weird way that depending on the angle you look at the sign, it makes the $3.89 look like a $3.39. I think it's by design. And just to be on the safe side, this time I buy 1 gallon of gas. I have a good laugh about it, and I pull up a little bit more, and I see a gas station on the other side of the road. You have to kind of make a U-turn to go to that gas station. And I looked, and it's $3.29, and I'm thinking, this is weird, and so I fill up at that station. Now, 2 miles down the road, I see another gas station that's also a pretty good price. For real, not a scam. I think also $3.30 something. And so all of the stations on your way out of town are very cheap. When you're going into town, they're very expensive, unless you want to make a U-turn, that is. And so I think that's by design. But more importantly, it made me reflect on my own life. See, part of the reason people fall for bait and switch scams like that is that they get very attached to the deal they want to make, right? They see a Sunday advertisement for big screen TV that's 70% off, and they lock themselves into that deal. And they go there, and sure enough, it's sold out, and they feel like they have to walk out of there with something, right? It's very easy to fall for a bait and switch when you walk in with a mentality like that, right? If you go in there with the idea that I'll have some fun, and maybe I'll get a good deal out of it, or I'll explore a rest stop that I've never seen before, or have a good laugh about it. See, it's much easier to walk away from situations, right, like that, right? And unfortunately, a lot of people lock themselves in. Right? You want to have a very fluid attitude with life, right? When you go on a date, right, you want to be fluid with the idea that I can always walk away from that, right? When you go to buy a big screen TV, when you take a job right now, right? A lot of people got laid off during the quarantine and have to change career paths. You want to go in there with a fluid mind that you can walk out at any time, or you can make adjustments at any time, right? I recently got suckered by, well, not recently, but earlier during the pandemic. I had moved into an Airbnb, and I think, well, speculation here, but I think the owner had it out for Asian Americans because of the perception that we started COVID-19, right? So I was booking this on the Airbnb site, and I thought they couldn't see who we are, but for some reason my credit card kept getting declined on there. I knew it wasn't my end, because when I called my credit card company, they claimed that nobody ever attempted to charge the card. And so he made a deal that we could do this outside of Airbnb. This is during the middle of the pandemic, where this wasn't terribly uncommon. I know it's against the rules with Airbnb. It's not terribly uncommon. So to be on the safe side, I paid him with PayPal. He had a PayPal account. And I move in there, and I had a miserable time. He kept complaining about this, about that, to the point that I felt like I couldn't spend 5 minutes without making a mistake. To give you an idea of how messy it was, I was making my favorite French fries. I think I've shown you guys some video of that before. And I with coconut oil, and I needed to put that oil into a container after it had cooled down, obviously. And he had complained that I had left a mess somewhere, and I didn't know where to take that oil before it cooled down that I could scrape it out of the pan. And so I took it into my bedroom, and I just felt this is miserable. And on top of that, I had a roommate, and one day, it was like 11, 12 o'clock in the morning, in the daytime, and he's drinking beer, like one beer after another. He must have had 3 beers before noon. And I'm thinking to myself, is this guy as stressed out as I am about, you can't spend 10 minutes without him texting you something you did wrong. And him claiming that he's going to charge you whatever amount for that. I know legally he can't, but it's infuriating to see. And one day, I text him. I said, this is. I think both of us are unhappy about this. Why don't we talk about if I can depart? And by the way, my roommate, Bob, he was. I hate to be speculating here, but earlier this morning I saw him drink 3 beers before he left for the day. I don't know if some of these rules might be a little bit over the top, and the owner, he misunderstood that I was complaining about a roommate drinking, as if that bothered me. And he says, at least he doesn't make a mess, and it bothers you that he drinks? I'm sorry to hear that. No, it doesn't bother me that he drinks. I feel sorry for him that perhaps the situation is contributing to his drinking. I didn't say it like that. But anyways, I had a mental meltdown. Now what's really funny was that he refunded me with a check, and I complained to PayPal about it and got the full refund on PayPal and then some money from him. And he actually wasn't too unhappy about that. So I think he just had it out for, he wanted to harass an Asian guy for I don't know. Anyways, I made $500 on that. I can't really complain, but I think he needed to go on a spree of harassment for whatever reason, because when the people I lived with, they had similar issues, and it didn't blow up like that, right? But I think that the reason I allowed myself to get suckered into that situation was I got too fixated on where I wanted to live instead of let's go out and have fun and meet somebody new and see what else is out there, right? So right now I'm in Phoenix, Arizona, and that's the attitude that I've been taking. I've been able to bend myself a little bit more, right, with getting the gasoline at the gas station in Boise, right? Thanks for watching.